What'd you learn about your team from the Bahamas?
Oh, we're gritty. We got some toughness to us, and that we continue to be inconsistent. So, it's a good and bad.
How important is this game Tuesday? It's kind of in the middle of what you've been playing.
Yeah, well, these next, this home stretch where we get to practice and be at home and get better, they're very, very important. Just to see how much progress we can make as far as our consistency, the standard that we want to play at, both offensively and defensively, and hopefully help the young guys come along. They've shown that they can compete at against teams that are a high level, and now this will give them an opportunity to hopefully have some success also with their competing.
I guess we'll be talking to Tyler and Cam, is that right, Tom? Mm-hmm. Can you please speak on just what kind of leadership you have seen exuded by Cam and Tyler so far in the early season? Or maybe their playing abilities.
Well, they're both good players, right? And see, to me, leadership for me is about what are you doing for the other people around you, right? And we don't have enough guys, and those two in particular are doing well on their own, but they're not helping anybody else come along yet. And so that's the challenge for us to get to where we want to get to. If I'm the only person that's saying it and seeing it, then we can't be the team that we're capable of being. And so that's the push, the stretch. Those guys. Sometimes when you like each other, it's not always a good thing. Sometimes you got to go past like to love, and I love you enough to tell you the truth, and that's where we have to get to.
Sounds like the leadership applications are still being taken.
Yeah, but we're making progress now. We've seen some good things, and then it's just now we have to build on that and the consistency of it.
Coach, you've talked about the tempo with which you'd like to play. Are you getting the transition points that you want, and how do you improve that if not?
I like our pace. I don't like our execution in the pace, and so if we can cut down on our turnovers and make sure we get a shot up every time, that's going to help us. As this team continues to grow and evolve, there's what I like and then what's best, and that's where, as a staff, we're trying to figure out not just what we like, but what is best for the group. And it might be a little bit slower pace, might be call a few more sets. We're working our way through that right now.
Do you have a target date in mind for when Naquan might be ready to rejoin you guys?
No, nothing's changed with Quan.
After 6 games, what has pleased you most about your team?
That I feel like we've continued to get better. You play USC and Miami and Providence in this stretch, right? Those really good teams. We could have played 3 other teams. Our record be different, but not have improved as much as we have. And so, and I like that what our young guys are doing. I like that. They're making strides, like quickly, and so that's exciting.
What kind of stands out to you about your freshmen so far?
They're not afraid. They think they're better than the other guys on the team, and that's fun because, talent-wise, they might be. They just lack experience right now.
Who are you? What have you seen from them?
Well, they're Summit League champions. They've got guys on their team that played in the Sweet 16 game and went to the NCAA tournament last year. McBride, Kansas, Vanderbilt, NCAA tournament with Oral Roberts. He's got a lot of experience. He's definitely the straw that stirs that drink. And the Thompson kid, he's been there a long time. Deshaun Weaver, we've known him since he was a little kid, and just 6'7", block shots, can make a three. So they're going to space the floor well. They're not afraid. They've been in these environments before, so they're not going to walk in awe of anything. They played A&M. A couple more minutes, they might win that game. And so, that whole league, that Summit League, man, they have really good teams, really well coached, and guys that have been there a while, right? And so their experience is and their ability to shoot the ball. We're going to have to guard the arc, and we're going to have to make them pay on the glass. We have to get rebounds and score it, get the paycheck, not just, get rebounds. So
I think all three of their losses have been on the road, so record may be a little misleading.
Yeah, very, very, and it's like that for a lot of those teams. To get games, they got to go on the road, and so I've known Russell Springman for years, and Sam Patterson, who's on that staff. We were together at Baylor, and so I know. Terrific coaches, terrific people, and high character kids. So they're going to keep fighting, and we're going to have to win that game. They're not going to beat themselves.
What are some of the reasons that account for Tyler's slow starts?
In games?
Yeah.
When you're for the last few years, couple of years, he's been the guy at the end of the shot clock, at the end of the play, where all he has to do is go, make a shot, right? And now he starts the play, and with not knowing if he's going to get it back at the end, and does he attack early? He's having to read ball screens. He's having to make sure all his teammates get involved. So there's a lot of thinking that's going on with him, going from being a secondary ball handler to being a primary ball handler. So that's going to take some time for him to come along. I think you could have probably asked the same question about Marquise last year, right? Early in the year, if you watch probably our first 6 or 7 games, other than maybe the Nevada game, right? He wasn't sure. He was trying to feel things out, and then as he figured out how to get everybody involved and still get his game took off. And so I expect there to be a big upturn, end of December, January. But this struggle is normal, and you see, and I think as the game goes along, we get Day on the floor more, and he handles the ball, and Tyler gets to play off the ball. It gets him more shots and gets him. So he's got to learn how to do both of those things, and it's a process.
Are you asking him to do more than maybe he has in the past too, do you think?
Yeah. We're asking him to think about his teammates and know where every read is at, and figure out who's hot and get him another shot, and then pick his spots, and if he picks a spot and misses and it's a tough shot, then it's not good. And if he thought a guy was open, it's turned out the guy doesn't catch the ball, it's his fault. And when you're the point guard, everything that goes wrong is your fault, right? And so he's being stretched, but it's good. It'll be good for him later on.
With David, can you take me back to what you really liked about him as a recruit and how you guys kind of linked up a year ago?
I like David's versatility, his speed, and his size. In this league, you got to get guys with size, and got to watch some of his high school stuff too as we were going back, not just what he did at Virginia Tech, and saw him do some things in high school, and you say, man, there are some things this guy can do. And so that he's another guy who's being stretched, asked to do a bunch of things that are weren't asked of him last year, and he's trying to figure out how to do that and still play his game. And so yeah, Dave, you know, his best basketball is ahead of him, and it's just a matter of him having the confidence to do the things that we see him on the floor, that we see him do in practice every day.
What's different for him in the new offense?
Not necessarily the new offense. It's like taking a leadership role,
Okay.
right? Speaking out, you know, just that, and you know, the goal was for him to play probably more 5 and be in the center of the floor with the ball against the opposing team's 5, and because of things out of his control, he's playing a lot of 4. And so now he's going against a smaller player that he has to attack a little differently, probably more from the side than from the middle. So there's some moving around he's going to have to make some adjustments to. But you know, the work he did this summer, I think it'll pay off as we continue to move forward. Everybody gets a little more comfortable.
What kind of role did he play on the Netherlands team? Was it different or?
Yeah, no, he was, I mean, he got to handle the ball. He got to make plays. He was a cutter. He was a roller. I mean, like, they moved him all over the floor. And his versatility on defense allowed him to do that. And, you know, so, you know, I think is going to pay dividends moving forward.
So is Glover just continuing to heal and get better?
Yeah. You know, I think they said it was a 4 to 6 week recovery, and I wanted to make it a 6 to 8 week recovery because I don't want him to come back, you know, early again and have to have a relapse and stuff. Want to make sure he's completely healthy. And Luke, everybody's felt good about it. He feels good about how things have come along, and so we'll get him. I would think end of December.
What kind of point guard growth do you expect to see out of Darren Day?
Yeah, it's every day he's gonna continue to get better. And the thing about Day is he really believes in himself, and he's tough, like mentally, physically, emotionally. You can coach him hard, and he responds the right way. And I mean, he wants to get better. Like, he works in the gym, watching film, and so there's gonna be just a constant growth that's gonna take place. And I'm excited. He has a bright future. I don't put there's not like a number on the growth or a percentage on the growth. It's just you see little things and how he listens and how he can translate. He's learning terminology for the first time in his life, you know, and actually the day of practice I had him talk me through something, and he was using regular people's talk, and I was like, no, I want you to talk me through with our terminology. And you know, it took him a little bit, but once he learns how to speak our language, then he'll be able to communicate better with everybody on the floor. And so all of those are things that go into playing that position that's that can be difficult for people, but he's embraced it.
Did you see his toughness through the recruiting process?
No, I really didn't. I can't say that I did. I didn't realize that how competitive. You know, I knew he was a good player. I saw him get buckets. I saw him, you know, playing tough environments and stuff. But, you know, just the way he competes in the weight room, the way he competes in every sprint, you know, just like how he can. I mean, he's been the one person, if there's one that's really surprised me about, you know, all the intangibles that are there that I wasn't positive about.
With Arthur, were you, he seems to have been more assertive in the last couple of games. Is that on him? Is that you guys preaching that, or combination of the above, all of the above?
Well, you know, we've asked Art to buy into how we want to play and what we need him to do and when we need him to do it. And I think he's figuring out the right spots, you know, when to be assertive. And, you know, obviously if you're assertive early and the ball goes in the hole, it looks like a great play. If you're assertive early and it's a turnover, a missed shot, it doesn't look like a great play. So, you know, one thing, you know, as a coach, you hate guys who do everything you tell them to do or do nothing you tell them to do. At some point in time, they've got to, like, see the play and go make it, and then live with the consequences. And he's one of those guys. But what he's done recently is wait, for the right moments. As he doesn't necessarily try to attack on the first side, against the set defense, and he's his leadership, right? Like, he's really, when you sacrifice for your teammates, that's a sign of leadership, and he's done that, and he's doing it more and more. So very pleased with his growth.